Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Purple Lunar Rose Tarot and Astrology. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Twin Flames. We're doing the current energy read for the month of June. I do have a very special topic that I want to discuss tonight because I feel like collectively we're all experiencing the same type of repeated cycle or maybe even feeling stuck. And I do feel that, again, collectively, fear is going to be the reason behind that. So tonight, I'm going to talk to you about what is fear, why do we experience it. I'm going to give you a couple of different examples. And then, of course, I'm going to give you some practical steps on how to overcome and get through that energy so we can get out of this, again, collective stuck energy that we're all feeling. Guys, please remember we are multi-streaming. So I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. And it does look like everyone is coming in okay. Welcome, everyone. I am going to jump over to my notes and we'll talk about what is really holding everyone up a little bit before we get to the reading. I do plan on offering some free energy reads at the end of tonight's live. So if you guys hang out, let me know in the comments if you guys are interested, of course. All right, so let's just get into the subject at hand. I talked to several of you guys last week about this particular energy and this particular subject, so I thought it would be great for us to do it in the June Twin Flame Energy Update so that we can all kind of understand, one, that it's happening collectively, and two, work towards it together collectively, right? All right, so first, what is fear? So, fear is an emotional and psychological response. It's perceived danger, uncertainty, or a threat, and it triggers our fight, flight, or freeze response, which is preparing us to survive, right? So, while it can be life saving, it often holds us back from growth. And I believe that, again, collectively, that is what is happening right now. And this happens a lot of times due to things becoming irrational or excessive. So why do we even have fear? So fear is evolutionary purpose, and it's kept our ancestors alive. So, for example, fear of predators, right? That makes sense. Also, it's conditioning. So past traumas, upbringing, or our societal influences also shape our fears. And then, of course, uncertainty or change, fear of the unknown or losing control, and of course, self-preservation. Fear protects us from from any perceived harm, even if it's irrational. So here's some simple information, and I'm actually going to break this down into much more spiritual meaning in just a moment. But how to face and overcome fear. Step one, you want to identify the fear, right? You want to name it. So, for example, you could say you're afraid of failure or rejection or the unknown. You can question it. Is the fear based on the facts or assumption? Understanding the root cause is also going to be important. Did a past experience create this fear? And is it a learned belief? Like, for example, I'm not good enough. Dina, welcome. Let me know if the fear energy resonates. So, another thing is going to be reframing the fear. So, instead of saying, I'll fail, try saying, this is a chance to learn, right? Ask, what's the worst that could happen? Could I handle it? That's something that I feel like came up in a lot of your one-on-ones with you guys this week. Is many of you were talking to me about your situation. And of course, I'm not going to go into people's personal situations or topics, but many of you are experiencing a lot of the same thing. And what I noticed, again, collectively, was that many of you are at the thing that you fear the most, like nothing else could happen. It's actually already happened, right? Like you're standing at the threshold. And this could mean a lot of different things. For some of you, this is about your job. For some of you, this is about a relationship. And for some of us, it's about where we live, right? That's going to be me right there included. All right. So, um, Talking small and brave actions is actually very helpful. Exposure therapy, so gradually facing your fear in low stake ways, can be very helpful. Fear of public speaking, you could start by talking in small groups, right? Also, using mindfulness and body awareness. So you can breathe deeply. A lot of people like to use the 4-7-8 technique where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7, and you exhale for 8. A lot of breath work there. Grounding yourself can also be very helpful. A lot of people like to use the 5-3-2-1 method or 5-4-3-2-1 method, where you name 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, etc. Another thing you can do, right? Another practical step could be to build confidence through repetition. So each time you face fear, your brain kind of rewires itself to see it as more manageable. When I very first started PLR, guys, the fear was unreal. If somebody would have told me back in October of 2020 that I was going to be doing PLR, for 4 years, and that I was going to be going live, 3 times a week, and talking to people all around the world, I would have called that, crazy, ludicrous, right? Um, I definitely, it's funny because I'm actually a really outgoing person. And like, face to face, I feel like I'm not necessarily shy. But I definitely struggle with stage fright and imposter syndrome. So those are things that I'm battling in my own journey, right? So yeah, not I know it sounds weird, but it happens. And each time I remember somebody telling me, like, Rosa, after your 100th live, you're gonna feel so comfortable with it that you're just gonna hit that live button and roll with it. And that was so true. Like, that's exactly what happened. And I didn't count like to 100 lives or anything like that, but I remember, like, getting probably up into like the 30s or 40s, and knowing that I was about halfway, to the 100 mark. And I don't really remember when we hit the 100 mark. It definitely was a long time ago. But I remember thinking before we ever got there, like, I'm super confident with these lives. They're nothing like they used to be when I first started, right? Like, I definitely was a lot more scared when I first started. So repetition is definitely going to be very helpful. And also seeking support. So any type of therapy, coaching, or even just a trusted friend can provide a perspective. And I think that trusted friend is really important, especially in the times that we're in right now. Like mind, soul tribe, soul family, again, very important right now. All right, so let's break this down just a little bit more. Oh, I do have a side note here. Fear is just a feeling, not a fact. The more you face it, the weaker it becomes. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. All right, so now let's get to the spiritual aspects, right? Fear isn't just psychological, it's actually energy. So, in spiritual traditions, it's seen as a blockage in your flow, right? So, you're stuck in your root or your solar plexus chakra. It's also seen as a teacher guiding you towards growth, right? When we do shadow work, right? How many of you are scared of your shadow work? Guys, I posted a twin flame shadow journal on my website. Link, of course, is always going to be in the description box. I worked through the journal very quickly when I was putting it together, and that's not true. I started this journal almost a year ago, and when I started just now started to put it together after I finished my own shadow work journal, right? And as I was working through it, I was looking back at the answers that I had when I, first started this, like almost a year ago, and you can see the hesitancy in my answers at the beginning, right? And this is going to be the same shadow journal, guys, that's available to you right now on my website. It's actually starts out, I broke it down: masculine energy, shadow work, feminine energy, shadow work. Guys, please remember, everyone has both of these energies internally. I also have advanced shadow prompts in there as well. When you get to the advanced, watch out. And guys, if you do get the journal, please use the journal. Don't just download the journal and look over the questions. Actually answer the questions, right? Like that's how we're gonna get through this very collective stuck energy, right? And I feel like as we all start to work through this shadow journal, or even get your own shadow journal, I'm not saying like it has to be mine, right? But it's like the more we start to face these things that we think we're scared of, right? The easier it's going to be for our collective energy to flow, right? All right, so spiritually, it's also seen as an illusion of the ego. So it's making you forget your true power, right? All right, so why do we have fear? Erica going to YouTube. Okay, Erica, no problems. Guys, please remember we are multi-streaming. So Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, you're welcome to join us on any of those platforms. All right, let's talk about why we have fear. And this is soul level reasons, okay? So the first one I have is karmic lessons. This is past life wounds or soul contracts that are requiring mastery. The second one I have is ego's resistance. So fear keeps you safe, but small, blocking expansion. If you're having a spiritual awakening journey, if spirit has chosen you, called upon you, given you purpose, then, it's all about expansion and growth. So it's like you can't keep yourself small. Also, it could be seen as a spiritual test. The universe could be asking you, will you choose love or fear, right? All right, so here's how to alchemize the fear. Here's some energetic and again, practical steps. Here's how you can alchemize. All right, so step one, locate the fear in your body. Close your eyes, breathe, and ask, where do I feel the fear? Is it in my chest? Is it in my stomach? Right? And place your hands there and say, I release you. Step two, this is where I know we talk about cord cutting a lot, and I always say that you can't cut cords with your counterpart energy. I still genuinely believe that. However, I do believe that you can heal the wounds that those cords are attached to. So I hope that makes sense. Now, we do have energetic cords that you can definitely drop and walk away from. And I think this is why people think that you can do this with twin flame as well. But again, I always say, like, if that was the case, then we'd all do it the moment we got to Dark Night of the Soul, or the moment we got to our first separation. The moment the pain hit, we would run and we would never hear about twin flames. Nobody would be having this type of spiritual awakening journey, right? But step two is going to be to cut energetic cords. Visualize scissors severing the ties between your past trauma or any other energy that's holding you back, and affirm, I return what's not mine. I reclaim my power. Step three is going to be call in light. This is energy work here. Imagine golden light dissolving the fear, filling you with courage. And try this mantra: I am safe. I trust the divine's plan. Step four, of course, shadow work, journal, get your own journal, download my journal. Guys, have you downloaded the free daily wellness journal as well? That's completely free over on my website. One page, you can download it to your phone, check mark it each day, right? It helps you with so many different things, but really, I think it helps us mostly stay in alignment. So check out that free daily wellness journal as well. So when you're journaling, you're looking for specific prompts. Again, there are beginner and advanced prompts in my journal. An example could be, what is this fear protecting me from, right? Often it's a hidden gift, a hidden situation, right? So an example could be fear of abandonment. You could teach yourself self-love, and then you wouldn't have to worry about abandonment again. Does that make sense? Shadow work, guys, shadow work. Another thing I have is astrological and cosmic support. So work with energies like Mars, because Mars is courage. Look on your birth chart. Guys, when other astrologers say work with a certain planet or work with a certain sign, you're going to work with that planet and that sign's energy. but you're going to correlate it with your own birth chart, right? Where is Mars for you on your chart? Where is your courage the strongest? Jupiter, where's your faith the strongest, right? And check those transits. Guys, we talked all about June transits. We went over all of them, including hot dates, this past Monday. So that video is also already listed. During the Saturn and Neptune conjunction, this is going to be so strong for those of us that are on this very specific journey. And I'm sure many of you, if you watch other twin flame readers or other people that talk about twin flame spiritual awakening, then you've already heard about the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. This conjunction is happening in Aries, and it's definitely happening for several different reasons. But again, I don't want to get into the astrology too much because we talked about that on Monday night. But Saturn and Neptune, very strong twin flame energy, very strong union energy. It's clearly forced alignment. It almost gives me this energy like spirit's kind of tired of us, playing around. We have a job to do down here. And again, it's like this forced alignment from spirit with Saturn and Neptune and Aries. All right, the next thing I have is going to be rituals for release. So write your fears down on paper and then burn them safely, of course. Scatter your ashes wherever you need to. The moon ritual you could do on a waning moon. This is going to help you. A lot of people want to do full moon, guys. It's not full moon. Waning moon, release any fears. On new moon, plant your courage, right? Fear is a dense energy, guys, but you're the light. So every time you face it, you upgrade your vibration by attracting higher frequency realities, right? You reclaim your soul fragments. Those are pieces of power that you lost due to past trauma, and you align with your destiny. Fear is the border between the old you and the new you. All right, so now I know you're like, how does all of this pertain to those of us on this very specific type of spiritual awakening journey? Here it is, guys. I'm going to get a little personal, but we're almost done. And then I'm going to get to the collective. Please remember, I do plan on reading some free energy reads at the end. So make sure to stick around. All right, so why are twin flames experiencing intense fear right now? Again, collectively, right? So the twin flame journey is really a journey of a sacred mirror. It's forcing you to confront your deepest shadows right now. That's why we're all doing shadow work. Surprise. That's also why Spirit didn't let me finish that shadow journal last year. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to answer those hard questions, right? And that's why we're all doing it now. It's like Spirit's timing is perfect timing, right? So because of this sacred mirror, it's forcing us to confront our deepest shadows. And this is again collective energies. This is Pluto in Aquarius, and again Saturn and Neptune conjunction. This is also our lunar nodes in Pisces and Virgo. All of this is amplifying this process right now. So here's why fear is surging and what to do about it. All right, so I have first 5 reasons of why we're experiencing this surge. The first one is going to be the divine masculine and the divine feminine are rebalancing. The collective is purging toxic power dynamics. This is control versus surrender. I literally talked about this in last night's live. I did all 12 signs. I talked about it at the very beginning of the live, this experience that I just had at the lake, and then of course the purging that came after. So if you guys missed that, make sure to check it out when we're done here tonight, right? So fear arises in things such as old 3D relationships or ego attachments. When these things collapse, that's when fear arises. Also, we have Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, and Pluto in Aquarius is exposing truths. So twin flames are being forced to release illusion. This is karmic partners or false unions. And here's what I'm going to say about that. Like I know who awakened me And I tried to move on from that situation and like be in a whole other relationship several times, many times. I know some of you are probably lost in the amount of times by now. So am I. I want you to know it's just the one person. It was complete denial. You know what I mean? Just complete denial. I just kept telling myself that if I had free will and if I wanted to be in another relationship, then so be it. That's what I was going to do. Again, when spirit calls you to do something, you really don't tell spirit no, right? I mean, we do for a while until things, get to the point where they're not working out at all. And then we're calling for spirit to come and save us, right? I feel like that's kind of what happens. So with Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, karmic partners gone, false unions gone. Any type of fear of losing them is really a fear of you losing your old self. And so that is also gone, released. How many of you feel like you're going through this transition that everyone calls the old world to the new world? And how many of you feel like you can see yourself leaving the old you behind? I know I can. All right, so also we have Saturn and Neptune. Guys, this is together after 300 years in Aries. This has not happened in 300 years. And in Aries, this is all about testing your faith. Saturn demands real world action, and Neptune dissolves fantasies. So many are terrified that their divine timing is just avoidance. Also, we're experiencing ego death before union. So the closer you get to alignment, the louder fear screams. I can definitely say this is facts, straight up 100% facts. What if I'm not enough has definitely been a question that has been popping in my head for the last several weeks. And it does seem that the closer I got to the thing, like where I'm supposed to be, and I will say that I feel like I'm almost there because I've surrendered and I finally see it. I don't really want to talk about what all is about to happen until um my mind calms down and I have processed the information. But I can tell you that the closer I got to making this decision and taking this route, the more the fear screamed. I mean, like it was screaming in my face. It was like one thing after another. So I can definitely confirm that that feeling is very strong. Again, collectively, not just me, right? So this is soul level resistance. Soul level resistance to merging into your higher self. I know, right, guys? It's not easy. If it was easy, we'd all be twin flames. All right. So we're also experiencing collective ascension pressure. Collective ascension pressure. So as more twins awaken, the old systems like fear-based matrix fight back, right? I always say we're the light and the dark is not going to want us to shine, right? So you're sensing the battle between love and fear globally, globally. All right, so now let's talk about what twin flames must do now, right? All right, step number one, recognize that fear is a false prophet. Fear says you'll lose them forever, but truth says separation is just an illusion. If it's real, it will return in divine timing. Second, shift from when will they come to who am I becoming? That's key. Who am I becoming? Your twin's journey is not your responsibility. Focus on self mastery. This is where so many get lost. I cannot express, even including myself. So many of us are so focused on what the other person is doing, whether you're still talking to them, whether you're trying to control a situation or manipulate a situation, whether you're spying on their social media. I mean, so many of us are so worried about the counterpart energy instead of focusing on our own self mastery. And if I mean, I don't know how to tell you that that will also only keep you stuck in a loop, other than tell you I've experienced it myself, right? I've experienced it myself. So ask yourself, where am I still operating from lack and not love? right? All right. Number 3, use the mirror exercise daily. I did this today, guys. Did it today. So when fear hits, ask yourself, what part of me is reflecting this? And here's we're gonna have a Rosa vulnerable moment. So ride the roller coaster with me. Ready? So an example could be fear of abandonment. All right. So you're gonna heal your inner child wounds. Who left you? Face it once and for all. All right. And my shadow work, my parents came up a lot, a lot more than I would like to admit. Right. My dad left me when I was 4 years old. Yes, my mother kidnapped me, and he did try to find me, but he failed. He failed. So in my mind, my dad left me at 4 years old, right? And then my mother, the only chaos that I knew as a biological parent, died when I was 32. And I know that sounds old, right? I know when I was young, I was like, 32 is old, but it's not. It's not. It was actually in the middle of my really messed up marriage. I was raising 3 teenage boys at the time. I needed my mom desperately. Heck, I still do, right? Don't feel sorry for me, guys. My grandfather raised me in the years that I needed guidance the most, and I'm definitely very, very grateful for those years with my grandfather. All right. So now, all of this said, do I blame my parents for my messed up life and poor decisions? No, that's ridiculous. See, at a certain age, I want to say like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, I knew the difference between right and wrong, right? And I also knew that I wanted to be the opposite of my parents. I wanted to do things the opposite way, right? Some of those things I did, and some of those things are very, very, very similar, right? But I chose not to listen to my own quiet voice inside, right? When I made poor decisions, that's all me, just me, no one else but me, right? And that is accountability. So when you can honestly reach the level of accountability, then healing the generational curses actually becomes cake work. Nothing can stop you. So strap on some accountability boots and see if it doesn't change your life as well, right? All right, let's move on. Number 4 of what must be done, surrender. This is the ultimate twin flame test, surrender. And here is where Saturn and Neptune come into play. They're going to come in and teach us that you can't manifest from depression. Wrong. Desperation. You can actually. You can be depressed as all get out and still manifest. People are like, but it's low vibe. But you can't manifest from desperation, right? How many of you guys have heard that? Like, if you're trying to manifest money and you're like, I don't know, there's a bill due, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need something right now. I need it to come in right now. I will say that as you go through ascension, as you go through your spiritual awakening journey, you're going to have times where manifestation is super simple, like drop of a dime type of situation. But most of the time, how we manifest is we align to a certain vibrational energy, right? And it takes time to align to that vibrational energy. So if I wake up in the morning and I start off with my, daily wellness journal, right? And I'm making sure that I'm staying hydrated and my water intake, and my reflections throughout the day, right? And I'm doing all this mindfulness work, then of course I could definitely manifest a lot quicker, right? I could think of something by the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day I could be doing it, right? Um the more we do that, the faster it comes. But if I'm not doing any of those things and I'm just stressed out about all my bills, and I'm like, oh my gosh, something's going to be late, or I'm going to have a late fee, or maybe something's going to get turned off, you're not going to manifest anything from that energy, right? Because you're only focused on the negativity, and that, again, we all hear it, is only going to draw in more negativity, right? So practice the I release control, I trust the universe's plan, even if it looks nothing like I imagined. Practice saying that. I release control. I trust the universe's plan, even if it looks nothing like I imagined. All right, the last thing, two more. Ground and protect your energy. So fear equals cords to your twin flames energy. So cut them with visualizations. And of course, things like salt baths can also be helpful at this time. You can say an affirmation of I am whole. My peace is not dependent on anyone outside of me. I've said that from the very beginning of PLR. We are whole. It does not matter if you're having a twin flame spiritual awakening journey. You're not half a soul walking around the planet. Like, that's crazy, right? I don't know why people tell people that. Has nothing to do with that, right? You are a whole soul. You came into this lifetime in union and you will leave this lifetime in union. All right. The last thing I have is prepare for the next phase. Prepare for the next phase. Pluto in Aquarius is going to expose false beliefs when it comes to your soul's journey. And some of those are going to be karmic, right? And you're going to have to let those things go. I tried to make a karmic relationship a soulmate for almost 5 years, right? I think beyond 5 years. But it was definitely just a lot of karmic lessons. There's actually just one karmic lesson that I just wanted to repeat, however many times I needed to repeat that. But anyway, let them go, right? Let the karmic energies go. It's the only thing that is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in fear. It's keeping you from being able to move forward. Saturn and Neptune is going to reward those that do their inner work with clarity, right? All right, so here's the light at the end of the tunnel, because I know all this fear talk, you're like, oh my gosh, Rosa, where is this going? All right, fear is initiation fire. So the ones who face it will emerge, right? Unshakable in self love. So there's no more runner and chaser, thank God. You will align with true divine union, not trauma bonded fantasy. That's what most of us do, right? Trauma bonded fantasy. And you'll be anchored in 5D consciousness. You're meant to be a fearless co creator. If this resonates with you guys tonight, I want you to know that you're upgrading, and that's why you're experiencing this energy. So please keep going. Please keep pushing. When I read for the collective, I want you guys to know it takes all of us. It takes all of us to do the healing work in order to push the collective energy forward. And if you're having this type of spiritual awakening journey, I promise you that you're a part of this collective. And your shadow work and your inner work is going to be important, especially in the times that we're facing now, right? If anyone needs a private twin flame energy reading or any type of chart analysis, I can do yours or both of them together. You can find those in my Etsy shop and over on my personal website. Links are going to be in the description box. All right, guys, let's get started with that collective. I know that was a whole lot, but I just wanted to make sure to get all that information out. I want everyone to know that this is a collective experience that we're having. And together, the more we focus on those energies, the more we can get through them, right? I see everyone. Erica, Jenna, Diana, Sandra. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. All right, so here we go, collective energy. I'm starting out with the Heal Yourself reading cards. These are also going to be the cards that I'm going to use tonight for our energy reads, guys. Please no list. I don't want to bombard the moderators. I really want everyone to just be able to soak in the information. And at the end of the collective, I'll check in the chat and I'll let you guys know, and you can let me know then if you're interested, okay? All right, so for masculine energy, we have entrapment coming out, which is super interesting because there's actually two pictures on the entrapment card. There's the lady with the dark hair, beautiful lady. She's laying down on the bed, and she looks sad. like she's being manipulated or controlled, right? And then there's a gentleman behind her who definitely seems to be, in this manipulative type of energy. So for entrapment with the masculine, I feel like the masculine is either losing control of something. They could feel like they're losing control of the divine feminine right now. That could be very true. I know the divine feminine is very much empowered at this time. It's definitely like rise of the feminine energy right now. All right, let's look at, and they could also be breaking themselves free from some type of karmic tie as well. That has to do with manipulation or control. And the number was 34. All right, let's do feminine energy. We have rejection coming out. It's number 13. So I feel like feminine energy is definitely mastering that energy. The rejection card shows the woman sitting on the bench in front of the clock. And the interesting part is there's a picture behind her. And of course, the man is in the picture. And there's a cobweb coming from the corner of the picture down to her shoulder. So it's like he's attaching himself to her. And it's so interesting because with this card, I always got this feeling um, like, how it's kind of like, I don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you either. You know what I'm talking about? It's that energy. So for the feminine energy, it's like you're walking away from anything that maybe you felt you needed some type, maybe it rejected you previously and you felt like you needed some type of I don't know, healing. It's like you wanted them to want you. You didn't want them to reject you. Definitely healing from that energy. And I think what helped you heal is that energy of, I don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you. It's like when they had you, they couldn't treat you properly. So that's what's like freeing you or allowing you to like cut the cord, remove the cobweb, right? All right, let's look at the bridging energy, and then I'm going to clarify with some rider weight. All right, here's the bridging energy. We have the dreams card. It's number 3. It's going to be my favorite, right? So the threes are sticking out to me: 34, 3, and 13. 3, 4, 3, 1, 3. Help from above is on the bottom. Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. All right, let's clarify a little bit. All right, so I split it at King of Swords and the High Priestess. King of Swords is going to be accountability, authenticity, speaking truth. And of course, the High Priestess is an inner knowing. Yes, Erica, very much. That's the energy. That is that energy. Erica says, won't step up or let me free. All right, let's look at entrapment. Again, I'm not necessarily feeling that the masculine energy, I mean, they could be dealing with some type of karmic energy that they're trying to break free from, or they feel is manipulating them in some way. But I think this is more about the divine masculine feeling like they're losing control of the divine feminine. There's definitely, like, I feel for like the longest time, like the divine masculine kind of led, like the divine feminine is supposed to lead the journey. But I definitely feel like that what we based our actions based on what divine masculine was doing, right? So that's not divine feminine leading the journey. That's us waiting for the divine masculine to lead us, right? And I think that's what's come to an end. That's what's come to an end. And the divine feminine has like taken her position, or like or stepped into her role, and it's like now the divine feminine is finally leading this journey. And so that could make the divine masculine feel like they're losing control. It's like we're not under the thumb type of energy anymore. We have Queen of Pentacles coming out. It could have something to do with finances, um, learning to become their own resource. We have Five of Pentacles coming out, and we have Eight of Pentacles coming out. So they could have been rejected in some type of work situation. I just see Nine of Swords. They could feel like they're losing control in financial situations as well. Eight of Pentacles is also focus. So it's like the divine masculine could feel like the divine feminine's focus is elsewhere. All right. Rejection. Let's look at that feminine energy. I do feel like this is something that we're mastering or overcoming. So we have Five of Wands coming out. So Five of Wands says it's challenging, but it's not Five of Swords, right? So it says we're training. We're prepared for something. Ooh, then the Five of Swords comes out right when I said that, right? And then the Sun comes out. So this is not, Five of Swords is disagreements. It's also challenges in communication, but for me, Five of Swords has always been in the mind. This is negative thinking in the mind. So I feel like what's happened, the Five of Wands is proof that divine feminine is mastering something, because it's like you've been training, you've been dealing with this, you've been trying to figure out how to handle all of these thoughts, the obsessive thinking, the thinking you're not good enough, right? The Sun card, that bright Sun card, joy, happiness, definitely tells me that you're working on mastering this energy. You're breaking free from that energy of control and manipulation. And maybe even have something to do with like maturity. Like maybe you're at I don't know, a mature level. Maybe you saw the immaturity for what it was, especially when you're dealing with things like won't step up but won't let you free. All right, let's look at the bridging energy. All right, so let's discuss the bridging energy really quickly. Bridging energy is what we are all collectively spiritually learning at this time, right? So if my messages vibe, right, like my readings pull at your heartstrings, then most likely you're having this type of spiritual awakening journey. So this card that I'm fixing to look at, this dreams card, should really tell you that this is where the focus is right now, right? For many of us, this is literally about our dreams and aspirations, what it is that we want out of life. And for some of us, this is going to be about messages and communication coming through our dreams. I think for masculine, it's messages and communication. For feminine, it's more about what you want out of life, protecting your energies and protecting what you're building. So the Seven of Wands comes out. That's the biggest confirmation, the best confirmation, because Seven of Wands is all about protecting yourself, setting healthy boundaries, and enforcing those boundaries. Divine Masculine could be trying to communicate through the dream space, world, whatever you want to call it. And divine feminine could definitely be shutting that down. Justice comes out, Libra energy. It says a great injustice has been done. It does say that the scales need to be balanced, and the world card is here. And the world card is about new opportunities and starting a new cycle. Page of Pentacles is on the bottom, which tells me that that new cycle is something very, very new, very fresh at the very, very beginning, right? And we talked about that. Like the world card gives me that energy of moving from the old world to the new world. So what most of us are fearing right now is the loss of our old self. the loss of our old belief system and what we thought we were supposed to be doing on this specific type of spiritual awakening journey. Again, I talked about my experience that happened to me this week, which is really correlating strongly with this reading. Last night, I talked about it at the beginning of last night's live because I talked about the experience that I had on Tuesday and then the purging that I went through on Wednesday. So again, after this live, make sure to go check it out over there on my YouTube channel under the live tab. That live could maybe have some helpful information for you as well. All right, now I'm going to do head, heart, and higher self. And I'm going to use the Angel Inspiration Oracle for this part. I want to point out Libra energy coming out strongly. All right, here we go. In the headspace for the Divine Masculine, please. You have the Gratitude card coming out. So they could be trying to balance their gratitude. I think for the longest time, Divine Masculine didn't really see Divine Feminine, I don't know, for like the power that she holds. Again, it was this energy like they had like the masculine energy had their thumb, like kind of holding the feminine energy down. Like I can kind of hold you here and make you wait type of energy. And again, that's completed. That's done, right? We have show justice coming out in the heart space. So more Libra energy, more of this energy of a great injustice has been done and the energy is balancing out. That can definitely be communication from divine feminine to divine masculine. I won't really know until we get down to divine feminine, but let's look at divine masculine's higher self lesson at this time. We have embrace change. It's number 29. So if I'm talking to divine masculine energy, I would say what on your chart is at 29 degrees. I made my counterpart energies chart, the person who awakened me a long time ago, and a couple of years ago I actually got to share that information. I feel like a lot of it just went over his head, right? But some of it I feel like stuck. um, but there was two things that stuck out to me about my own journey. One, the counterpart energy had Scorpio sun and Scorpio rising, and those at critical 29 degrees. So I just thought like, wow, what statement that says, if you study astrology or if you know anything about astrology, to have a sun and rising at that placement is extreme. And to know what that means for that person and what type of challenges and what type of deaths and rebirths they'll experience every single waking moment of their life, is challenging enough just to know and understand what it means, but to actually have to live it, right? So the number 29, embrace change, is definitely coming out very strong for divine masculine's higher self lesson at this time. All right, I'm going to use elemental wisdom to clarify for the divine masculine. All right, let's look at the gratitude card. So this is in the headspace for divine masculine. I feel like it's this energy of, how you don't miss something until it's gone. It's kind of giving me that type of vibe there. All right, so we have Knight of Wands. It was coming out in reverse. This is fear to take action. We have judgment coming out. This is Scorpio energy. Could be fear, could take action on a calling. And we have Queen of Coins. I think it's fear to there's definitely some type of, I don't know, like a wall, a rift, something between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Divine feminine is focused on pentacles, Queen of Coins energy. All right, let's look at the divine masculine's heart space was show justice. So again, it's like something's unfair. This could be a message from divine masculine to divine feminine in the heart space, just this energy of unfairness. The blindfolds on, so it's almost like I can hear him saying, I didn't know this, or I didn't see this before, something like that. Page of Swords comes out. Page of Swords says someone is watching. Seven of Coins comes out. Seven of Coins is waiting for something, patience, and Ace of Swords. So that is that energy of, I just didn't know this then, and I know this now. And again, that could be a message coming from divine masculine to divine feminine. All right, so flying out. For the Embrace Change card for Divine Masculine, we have the Five of Coins, Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles, again, challenges, feeling left out in the cold, abandoned, rejected, all of those energies. The Emperor is coming out, strong Aries energy, and then the Nine of Wands talks about not giving up on something. Temperance is on the bottom. So I do feel like this divine masculine is going through it. It is this energy of maybe not missing something until it's gone, maybe not seeing something for what it was before. It's like this masculine didn't see the value, or that's not true, because I know in my own journey, it was actually my counterpart energy that saw like my worth or my value. It took me a minute to be able to see it. And it definitely was like mirrored, reflected, shown, right? But is it possible that through the journey we lose sight of that value or that worth? Yes, probably, most likely, right? Temperance on the bottom, slow moving, healing energy. So Scorpio coming out and Aries coming out for divine masculine. All right, let's look at divine feminine. Ooh, Sandra, I seen something about a floaty heart. I love that. All right, so Archangel Raphael comes out for divine feminine in the headspace. Divine feminine, you may be traveling soon. That's so interesting. But in the headspace, the Archangel Raphael is going to be all about healing. You are definitely healing the mind. I saw the Nine of Swords earlier, which is about like anxiety and depression and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like for those of us divine feminines that are in alignment, you've recently released something that was unhealthy, toxic, karmic, and really had quite a grip, right? It had quite a hold of you. It may have taken you more than one time to release. Excuse me, but that is what you've done. And because you've done that, there is this energy of healing the mind. A lot of us were dealing with narcissists. And when you're dealing with narcissist, you definitely, um, it's like abuse. I don't know how else to say it. Um, you deal with trauma to your mind, right? Um, so that's what we're healing, and it's interesting because like I've been talking to some of you, and I haven't really opened up about what my plans are yet, just because I'm still processing. Like I'm still processing what's happened to me, and what's going to happen next. And so a lot of you could feel like you're in that energy, like you've gotten away from something and you're healing your mind and you're trying to calm your mind and you're working on processing um, what's happened to you, what you went through, um, and where you're going, right? All right, let's look at the heart space for divine feminine. This is where we'll see if there is communication through the heart space. I know people want to say that it's the third eye, the head space, but it's not. Communication is energetic flow through the heart space. And it's like, it's not just me, Rosa, that says that. Like, you can look it up. It's just the way, the scientists have proven the things, right? Super interesting because we have Archangel Camille coming out. Archangel Camille. So divine feminine sending unconditional love. But again, I feel like some type of boundary, some type of wall, some type of resistance. All right. And then higher self lesson, we have number 44, generosity. That kind of makes sense as well. Many of us are manifesting at this time. Many of us are including others or giving to others at this time. There's also this energy that's going around because I know some of you are like, man, I'm so strapped right now. My finances are just crazy. Guys, I just want you to know that's Uranus. We talked about it. Um, it's everybody, literally. It's definitely like a financial reset, right? Um, but there's this energy of when I don't know how to help myself, I come out here and I do readings to help other people. Does that like resonate? Does that make sense? Do you feel like you do that? Like when you don't know how to handle your life and your problems and your stuff and you just feel like you're just in this stuck energy or waiting to figure something out, does it help you to help other people? Does it make you feel like you get unstuck, right? Because you stop worrying about it, you stop overthinking it, you stop stressing yourself out. And when you start worrying about other people's stuff and helping them do their stuff, it's like it clears your mind to be able to figure out your own stuff, right? I hope that makes sense. All right, let's clarify a little bit. I'm going to use Triple Goddess Tarot for the Divine Feminine. All right, let's look at Archangel Raphael. Again, some of you could be traveling or planning a trip. We have the High Priestess coming out, so an inner knowing. I mean, that's what's happening to me. Is like I'm planning something, and it is some type of like inner knowing. We have Eight of Cups, which is about walking towards something. I know everybody wants to say that the Eight of Cups is about walking away, but it's actually walking towards the Two of Cups. Because remember, guys, the goal is 10 cups, right? Like that's what we're headed towards. So it's like when you see the Eight of Cups card, the person is walking away from those 8 cups, but they're not leaving anything behind. They're taking the element, which is emotion, feelings, love, right, from the cup. And then they're going towards their Two of Cups. Two of Cups is soulmate energy. It's also equal effort, right? Partnership energy. It's also emotional. If you're going towards completion, Ten of Cups, this is emotional contentment, right? All right, and then we have the death card, Scorpio. So definitely some type of complete death and rebirth, right? The old way of doing something is completely done. And again, strong Scorpio energy always. All right, Archangel Camille is in the heart space for divine feminine to divine masculine. Seven of Swords comes up. This could be about a leveling up as well and keeping things to yourself. But there's some distrust here. There's some distrust between the feminine energy and the masculine energy, and that definitely has me concerned. Three of Swords comes out, and that's probably going to be why the distrust. A lot of us have been talking about union in the time, like we're at the end of May, right? It's May 30th. We're June 1st is tomorrow. And of course this reading is for the month of June. But a lot of us have been talking about union energy because it's been coming up a lot in the readings. Myself, other twin flame readers as well. Um, and I've it's been coming up in my readings as well, which doesn't really like make sense to me in my journey, like doesn't correlate with what's happening to me like right now. But I can definitely say that um I can feel the distrust. I can feel this like rift between the masculine and the feminine. It's like there's a wall up. And I will say that I feel like it is for protection. And it's probably very likely coming more from the divine feminine side than it is the divine masculine side. It's like the divine feminine gave so many chances that they no longer believe they will walk away without it being pain of some sort, right? The three of swords. The chariot comes out. The chariot is Cancer energy. Um, it talks about like the victory is already yours. It's giving me this energy of like the loss, the pain is already yours. It's funny because I talked about this when we were talking about the fear situation. So this could relate with that as well for divine feminine. And I feel like I talked to so many of you this past week in your one-on-ones where you were talking about like you're at these situations where you feel like you're so scared that something's going to happen, but if you just stop and focus for a moment, you'll realize that it's actually already happened. You're just in that moment where you haven't taken the next step, right? Like, let's say it's a relationship. The biggest fear is a breakup. The breakup's already happened. It's already happened. Now you just have to take the next step in moving forward past the breakup, right? Does that make sense? Let's say it's a job. Let's say it's talking about being able to do a job or maybe even lose a job, right? You're either overworked already or you're already underpaid. It's already happening. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? So let's say that it has something to do with like moving. Maybe you're in fear that you're going to have to move, right? Again, you're already thinking about it, you're already planning it, something's already happened to make you think about the moving, it's already happened. So the thing that we're fearing the most has already happened. All we have to do now is that first step, the first action, right? Instead of staying stuck with deer in the headlights, frozen, right? Fight, flight, or freeze, right? Instead of staying in that frozen state, we just need to take that next action, that first step, right? All right, let's look at generosity coming out for the higher self lesson. This is definitely giving me that vibe of if you don't know how to help yourself right now, help others. If you're manifesting, if you're bringing in abundance, help others, right? So the Four of Swords comes out. Four of Swords says there's a blessing in disguise. Generosity may be coming to you as well. divine feminine. Jupiter comes out, Wheel of Fortune, divine timing, it says. And the last card is going to be Five of Cups. Five of Cups is the card that I really, really don't like. It is the loss and despair, but it's also alchemy. Like Spirit taught me this last week. Ready? I'm always like, Five of Cups is so painful. Every time I touch this card, it's like, kick in the gut type of feeling, right? And it is the card that shows like the three cups are spilt and the person's always looking down at that energy. And then the two cups are upright. And the whole point is supposed to be that, yes, you lost something. Yes, you experienced some type of loss, but in every experience, there's going to be something you gained. And that's those two cups that are standing upright. Guys, that is alchemy. It's alchemy. So when you go through something that's painful, it makes you stronger, wiser, braver, right? All of those things. And that's alchemy. When you find the positive in the situation, that's how you alchemize this journey. The star is on the bottom. The star is bright hope for the future. All right, let's pull some messages. Tonight, I decided I'm going to use the soulmate love messages. I haven't used the OGs in several months. I'm sure some of you may have noticed. And I'm still not ready. Still not ready for the OGs. So we're gonna focus on the soulmate love messages tonight. Maybe next month, guys. Maybe next month. This journey is a lot harder than I make it look, I promise. All right. Let's start divine masculine to divine feminine. First card out. You are so different from anyone I know, yet you feel so familiar. One thing I know about divine masculine is they're always trying to replace the energy. Like they're always trying to, I don't know, move on, right? Find someone else. A lot of divine masculines get on these journeys and they really just start running through them. God bless. But eventually they slow down, they stop, and they realize, right, it's not replaceable. You're not going to find anything else like it. And I really should stop saying like only divine masculine does this, because divine feminine does it as well. All right, Dina says losing things that was not aligned, and that's a silver lining. Absolutely. All right, let's go again. Divine masculine to divine feminine. Sometimes when I'm busy, I pause to think of you, and it's like a breath of fresh air. How many of you have been getting moments of telepathy? It's more than just that. It's bigger. It's like I'll be going through my day, just having my, regular life, normal life, as normal as possible on this type of awakening journey. um, and one, I usually see something first, like there'll be some type of synchronicity. The name has been super strong lately. It's always strong, I guess, but it's like it's really generic name too, so it doesn't help. But it's like everywhere I look. But what I've been noticing lately with the telepathy is that I'll see the name and then I get a very like direct message. And the interesting part is that the message is very 3D. 5D messages are very spiritual in nature, right? They are like encouragement and support and that type of thing. The 3D messages right now seem, and don't shoot the messenger, y'all. I'm just on this journey, sharing my journey, okay? But the 3D messages seem very immature. They don't feel spiritual at all. They're I can hear resentment in them. Like, why do I have to deal with this shit, but you don't? I didn't mean to curse, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of that type of vibe, right? And that's not true. That's not a true thing. There's nothing that the divine masculine deals with that divine feminine hasn't. So that's, that's going to be ego driven communication there. um, so again, it doesn't seem very 5D. It seems very 3D. It seems like there's a lot of frustration and anger and maybe even some resentment coming through um, some of the messages. So I feel like needing a fresh air would be helpful for the divine masculine, but there's definitely these moments where everybody's busy, we're all living our lives and doing our journey, and then something happens where you see a synchronicity, a name, a number, something that reminds you of, you know, the thing you can't forget, right? um, and then you know, then the message comes through after that. Erica says yes. I wonder if it was talking about the telepathy. All right, last card, ready? Last card for divine masculine to divine feminine. Your voice has a therapeutic effect on me, and I could listen to you for hours. I know, I know. I noticed that a lot of divine masculines are holding on to old paradigms, especially around money. Factual, very factual. And that's what's keeping them stuck, right? All right, let's look at divine feminine to divine masculine. Divine feminine to divine masculine. And I'll tell you if they're 3D, 5D, higher self. Those were all 3D messages. And when I say they're all 3D messages, that means, guys, that um, these are messages that you could have recently received, seen, heard. Um, these could also, here's where it gets tricky because sometimes, you know, people type stuff out and then they delete it. Emails could be typed out and then deleted, but those are all 3D messages. So if you got the message, like it could be confirmation, right? Like maybe your counterpart energy has told you that your voice is therapeutic and they can listen to you for hours, right? So that gives you confirmation, 3D message. All right, now let's look at divine feminine to divine masculine. First one says, I have so much passion and desire for you, it drives me mad. Divine feminine could be dealing with some mad energy as well. Or they could be sensing the mad energy coming from divine masculine. I can't wait to see you again, which clearly implies separation. All right, and last one, divine feminine to divine masculine. I'm so proud of everything you do. Those are all 3D messages as well, from divine feminine to divine masculine. On the bottom, you make me feel like a kid again. All right. Now I'm going to pull guidance from Tree of Life. This is one of my new oracle sets, and it's quickly became one of our favorites, especially for the monthly collective. So I'm going to pull 3 of them, and then I'm going to read the one that Spirit draws me to. And guys, free energy reads right after this guidance, so make sure to stick around and let me know in the comments if you would like your own masculine, feminine, and bridging energy read. All right, so the nest card comes out, and it is giving this energy of nesting, taking care of your things, your area, your space, nurturing something. The bonsai tree comes out. That's an abundance that we're all looking for, but yet we're all feeling this, you know, repeated cycle, this stuckage type of energy. Again, that's why we talked about the fear tonight, because this is a very collective surge that we're experiencing, and it is keeping us very much stuck in a very collective way. And again, guys, there's going to be purpose to that, right? There's going to be purpose. I see you, Vanessa. I see you. All right, last card out is going to be the Forest card, and Moonlight, my absolute favorite, is going to be on the bottom. I wish I could read all of them, guys, but we'd be here forever, and I want to make sure to give you guys some free energy reads. So let's do the nesting card. Oh, it's the first card. I'm always looking for it. It's the first one, page 1. All right. So nest says keywords, ooh, gifts, abundance, treasure, new life, patience, and instincts. I love it. All right, the nest card is here for you. This is a phase of life when you can expect many new and positive opportunities. You're discovering all the good that is in you, incubating and awaiting for the right time to hatch into new life experiences. You will know when to burst through barriers as you ready yourself for new adventures, new lessons, new celebrations. You hold natural power and riches in your own hands. The gift of life and renewal is yours. Like treasure found, unexpected gifts are soon to be received as you create through your own will the life you choose to live. In life, you cannot control everything, but you can control your own responses to all things. And so your journey is about finding the nest of calm and peace within, where where you will cultivate your glorious potential. The nest card is all about life and potential to renew at any point in life. So breathe deeply and know that your destiny is to thrive. The ideas you have will hatch into new realities as you learn to protect what you've got and shield what is yours. A mother bird cares for her eggs and young ones in order for life to continue on. In the same way, protect yourself from predators who want to use you or take your energy or exploit your ideas. Be careful to honor the inner soul energy that you possess and surround yourself with others who see your majesty and value. While you draw safe boundaries from yourself for yourself to protect and realize your dreams, respect the boundaries of others and know that they too have gifts and talents and dreams. Be patient and careful. You do not have to give away your ideas or plans before they are ready. This is a time to instinctively protect what is most delicate within your feelings, your thoughts, and your experiences, your ideas, and your plans for health and well being. Your unique gifts are yours to give the world. You will share them when you are ready to hatch, but they must remain nestled and kept warm until that time. Trust your sense of timing and allow yourself to care for the nest of potential and treasure inside of you. Your true potential will soon be brought forth into the world. All right, guys, that's going to be your June 2025 collective. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to pull out the Heal Yourself reading cards, including the 3 that we received in our the beginning of our collective reading. Remember, it was entrapment, rejection, and the dreams card. I'm going to shuffle them back in, and then we'll do some free general reads. Vanessa, I'm going to choose you first, Vanessa. So say hi to me in the comments. Vanessa is joining us over on Facebook. Say hi to me, Vanessa. Let me know that you waited so patiently. I know that was a little bit of a long one, guys. I wanted to make sure to get that information out. I think it really helps us, one, like not be scared, and two, get motivated when we realize that, it's not just us. We're not alone in all of this mess, right? All right, there's Vanessa. Ooh, first card flies right out. Masculine energy, number 8. It is procrastination. Feminine energy, number 19. It's temptation. So masculine energy is putting off something they know they need to do. Feminine energy is tempted to going back to the old ways of doing something. And let's look at the bridging energy. This is going to be your current spiritual lesson. You have help from above. It's number 27. Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. You don't need to be tempted to go back into anything, and this person needs to get a fire lit under them so that they can get moving, right? All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you, Erica. All right, Jenna. Jenna, say hi to me in the comments. I see where Jenna says she would like a free energy read. I see Erica. I see Dina. All right, Jenna, say hi to me in the comments. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. The help from above comes out, Jenna, for divine masculine. All right, let's look at your divine feminine energy. The home card comes out. Ooh, so interesting. The masculine energy is being emotionally prepared. Help from above, it has something to do with her emotions. She's standing in the ocean and the waves are crashing behind her, and the moon is taking half of the card. So there's definitely this energy of a lot of emotion, overwhelm for the masculine. That could be where they're getting the assistance for. For the feminine, your feminine energy, the home card, you could be dealing with the home situation. This could have something to do with moving things around, maybe even packing. A lot of times with the home card, it says that the person is moving the furniture around and pictures around because they're trying to recreate a time that was happy, or a time that they were happy. So that could be energy that you're focused on. In the picture, I see that she's reading like an old letter. You could be reading through old letters, old messages, maybe even old journals. All right, bridging energy for Jenna. How teachable are you? It's number 9. So both of you, bridging energy. So both the masculine and feminine energy at some type of testing period. It's like you're being tested. And it's like, which decision? Do you make a different decision this time? All right, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that was helpful. Jenna says, I'm packing and moving stuff. I love you so much. Oh my goodness. All right, Erica. Erica, say hi to me in the comments. I hope I said that before you typed that. And she said, yes, I was reading old stuff. Love it. All right, Erica, say hi to me in the comments. And then we'll do Dina, right? And then I think that's it. I think I'm going to close it out with Dina. Thank you, Jenna. All right, here's Erica. Life Path 9. Love it. The synchronicities. All right, Erica, here we go. Masculine energy first. We have the Dreams card. It came out in reverse. I feel like this is that energy. Do you feel like your counterpart energy is trying to communicate like in your dream space? There's this energy of being, it came out in reverse, so it's like the message is not going through. You're guarded, you're feeling guarded. In the picture it shows she's laying on top of this tiger, and the tiger is definitely there for protection, right? We could be talking about protecting your future plans. This could be like why you're not talking to this person, because you don't want them to know what your future plans are, and they feel like you are blocking them from being able to see something. All right, feminine energy again with the home card. So you got the same card that Jenna just got. So that means same thing. you're moving stuff around. You could even be moving, but it's like moving stuff around, wanting to recreate a time when you were happier. And again, could be going through old letters, text, emails, that type of thing. All right, let's look at the bridging energy. Bridging energy for Erica. We have the sexual arts. It's number 33. So the sexual arts card talks about, this is 5D. I almost said climax, but it's not even about that. But it's 5D union. You're learning that intimacy doesn't always mean sex. You're learning that there's other ways to be intimate. And most likely this has something to do with some 5D experience, because I definitely feel like you're blocking in the 3D. Number 22, have faith, is on the bottom. All right, I hope that was helpful, Erica. All right, last one. Dina, let me know. Oh, I see divine timing. Let me know divine timing real quick. I'm fixing to wrap it up. If you want to do an energy read, declutter and reminisce. All right, so did we decide? Is Dina still with us? And divine timing. So I'm doing energy reads. Let me make sure I click the right one. Yes. All right, so let's do Dina's really quickly. I'm looking at masculine energy first, please. Masculine energy, we have number 22, have faith, which I just saw. There's something about the twos, 22 partnership. And feminine energy is the entrapment card. That's what came out for the masculine. It came out in reverse for your feminine energy. So it means that you're breaking free from some type of manipulative behavior, or maybe something that you feel is trying to control you. That's feminine energy. And we have self-sabotage coming out as the bridging energy. So the self-sabotage card talks about how, all right, so I'm actually seeing like the Wolf card and Queen of Moon. So in the self-sabotage, it shows like the two Grim Reapers on each side of her, right? And it's supposed to represent like, you know, your negative thoughts to tell you to do negative things, or like repeat negative karmic lessons, right? That type of stuff. But what I'm actually hearing, Dina, is the Wolf card and Queen of the Moon oracle. It talks about how we have two wolves within us. The the good wolf and the bad wolf, let's say. So if you feed the good wolf, then more good things come and more good things happen. If you feed the bad wolf, then more bad things, challenges, obstacles, that type of thing. I think that's going to be the message, Dina. I hope that was helpful. All right. And then divine timing to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming in here and hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Monday nights, I will be back. Monday night, love and astrology, 8 p.m., guys, 8 p.m. All right, divine timing. Let's look at masculine energy. We have the rejection card coming out. Masculine energy could feel like they're still attached to something, stuck to something that has rejected them or abandoned or left them. Feminine energy, entrapment again. So it is this energy of breaking free from control or manipulation. For divine timing, this is going to be your, okay, don't shoot the messenger, okay? And one, we all do this shit. We all do the same crap. Just want you to know. You're not trying to manipulate anymore. You've released control. You're not trying. This could be anything. Like, let's say you're going through separation and maybe, like, I don't know, we like to, like, social media, right? We like to deal with the social media. um if we're not posting stuff that's like specifically for that person, then we're spying on what they posted, right? So something like, you could have recently said, you know what, I don't care, I'm not looking no more, it's not my problem, right? Could have been something like that. All right, let's look at the bridging energy. Is whole in the soul. Ooh, that is a tough one. How teachable are you is on the bottom. Divine timing, whole in the soul, and the heal yourself reading cards. The artwork itself is amazing, but the the pain that is, there's no other word to describe it. That is felt in this card. I'll tell you what it describes. To me, this describes somebody that has been in like long-term separation. Something happened a long time ago. um it's giving like it's old energy. It's been around for a very long time. um it's a longing. It's definitely like a longing. um Feeling like you're without something. So that's the bridging energy, right? So that means that right now, bottom of the deck was number 9. How teachable are you? What did we talk about? I don't know if you weren't here at the beginning. I talked about fear. Guys, if you missed the beginning of the live, check it out because there's so much helpful information there. It's going to help you get unstuck, right? But we talked about fear. So it's like, how teachable are you? You have to release the fear. You have to know that separation is clearly only an illusion. It's only an illusion. You're always whole. You again came into this lifetime in union, and you will leave this lifetime in union. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in, supporting, commenting, participating. I love it so very, very much. Divine Timing says you're so on point. I love y'all. I love y'all. I'm so glad that I have surrendered as much as I have. I definitely have a lot more surrendering to do. We all have some shadow work to do, y'all. So I want you to go over to my website. I made that shadow journal 1111. It's an instant download on your phone. You can start answering the questions tonight. Let's start working through this fear so that we can push through all this stuck energy, right? All right, guys, make sure to check out the free daily wellness journal as well because it'll help you stay in alignment. If you feel like you get derailed off the path like I do, the daily wellness journal, completely free over on my website. Download it right now. All right, guys, Monday night, Love and Astrology. I'll be back with some free and paid mini readings. I love you guys so very much. I'm always, always sending all of you abundant love and light on your journey. Have a good night, everyone.